Hello guys, welcome back to a new technology moment. Today a topic that we have been asked to approach as more and more people are implementing or migrating networks to HPE Networking Instant-On devices. We have witnessed how their hardware has evolved over the years, the great performance that you can achieve implementing networking devices from the brand, and how we have liked their performance as well as their reliability, which is basically what every IT manager wants. Not only that, but we have also seen how implementing robust deployments can be carried out by professionals with little to no experience, without that resulting in misconfigurations or lack of security. This may be the most important aspect. So right to the point, what you should expect from this video. First, we will review the main characteristics that the HPE Networking Instant-On 3.3.0 release has to offer. Second, we will see some general aspects that are worth mentioning regarding the experience with the Instant-On Portal and its related hardware. Also, how this approach from HPE can be a game changer. And then we're gonna end our video with our conclusions and our recommendations for the best way implementing your network based on HPE networking hardware. So, as you may have been able to watch in our videos, the Instant-On HPE Portal excels in one aspect that many people will like, which is how simple yet powerful it is. You will not find complex menus nor configurations unless you're looking for them. Let me explain. Just by having access to the Instant-On Portal, you will get access to your sites. This is in case that you handle several of them. Let's remember that sites are those logical and most probably physical grouping of equipment in your infrastructure. For each site, there are 7 main tabs, and this may change in the future, of course, because this is a product that is constantly evolving. For example, it is a safe assumption to say that this profiles category may become a tab in the future. A small parenthesis right here, the same logical interface is available from the app, as you can see right here, and I will try to share them both with you. Current tabs are health alerts, clients, networks, devices, applications, and policies. Of course, this will be seen once you enter the site that you have chosen, as you can have several of them, depending of course on the needs of your company. Also, if you need to clone a site, this will let you replicate settings for new ones without spending so much time specifying them again. That is something that is very useful, as these are devices oriented for the medium-sized businesses. We also recently saw how we could deploy networks for thousands of clients with very simple hardware schemes. The Health tab could not be more helpful, and just by looking at it, you will see how your network is behaving, and most importantly, if you have had any trouble with the hardware present on your premises or any, for example, internet blackout. I have created this simple workshop scenario where I have diverted most of my traffic to this HPE's hardware, so you can watch real-time statistics right here. You can see also, for example, that there is a device that is having trouble at this present moment, or that is not working at its optimal performance. For example, I have been stressing this access point to its limits, hence the alerts that you're seeing right here. Also remember that this access point is the access point AP21, which is the smallest of the family, yet it is a very powerful device right here with 50 wireless devices connected to it. Let's take a look, for example, right here. This is an intentional internet failure that I created, so I can show you right here how it will be shown in the statistics. And let's remember that this is a 24-hour period, that just by owning any HPE Networking Instant-On device, you will have access with no additional payments nor subscription for what I'm gonna show you in this video. The Alert tab goes hand in hand with Health. And one very interesting approach that we found to be very useful is that not only you can identify which equipment has failed, but also you'll be able to identify when that problem was solved, which may be more important. Before we continue, it is relevant to note that here the help menu is always going to be available, and it's going to point to the topic being configured in the page where you're at, which is very helpful for professionals with less experience. It will be guiding you step by step if you leave it open. By the way, up to 25 administrator accounts can be configured for each site, each with different roles and different privileges. Every user can configure its own alerts for many important situations of which you may want to keep track. And as always, we encourage you to use the two-factor authentication. The Clients tab may also be of great support for IT professionals in charge of load distribution and traffic analysis, as not only it will let you report aspects of the connection of each client, but it will also report traffic analysis that may support in reporting which clients are demanding more bandwidth, hence, for example, migrating these to much more capable ports. Also, if it's very important, you might want to add that client to the watch list, letting you receive personalized notifications. You can change the name of the client to a friendly one right here. As in my infrastructure, I have not installed a gateway yet. Options regarding DHCP, address reservation, and DPI are not shown right here, but are present. Networks can be deployed wired or wirelessly as needed, with as few or as many required by the users that converge into your physical network infrastructure. Say, for example, that you have different levels of clearance to some hardware in your network, then VLANs, MAC filtering, and segmentation would be necessary. Also, if the same hardware is going to be supporting different user groups, creating networks that are logically or physically limited may be of great help. Of course, all this is going to be dependent on the topology that you chose. More of that in a moment. With very simple steps, hardware can be shared among different users without that representing a vulnerability to your resources. An example would be deploying a wired LAN network with IGMP snooping, which may be typical in schools or campuses, or even IPTV deployments where multicast traffic and even network isolation is a big issue. Same importance how easy you can assign networks, VLANs, traffic tagging, and to which port, as well as the device that you are applying the configuration to. At this point, it is relevant to note that ideally most of the hardware in your physical network be from HPE, as some policies take place at the gateway, others at the switch, others at the access points or radius, and others need to have all of them synchronized. If you choose, for example, to leave some unmanaged older switches in your network, the entire path is not covered, hence some policies may not take effect. The Devices tab will very quickly show you how many Instant-On enabled devices you have been adding to your network, giving you a quick overview of the involved network devices present. It will show you its type and the friendly name that you decide to give to them. Depending on the device that you select, quick aspects are going to be shown. And if you want more detailed information, follow the link and you can both read its status or make any changes if you want. Say, for example, right here, you want to identify from a small pool or physically present access points the one that you are configuring. You can identify it before making any important configuration or, more importantly, restarting the device. It's right here where the topology we mentioned a moment ago is going to be reported. And not only that, it's here where you can manage access points radius, optimizing your infrastructure, and setting the transmission power. Here we cannot see, for example, the 6 GHz band, as that is the only access point I got and is not compatible with it. Spanning tree protocol and link aggregation, depending of course on the device that you choose, if it is capable of doing so. Most of these will have the latest tech available for these protocols. Port mirroring, test connectivity, and cable test are also present for these switches, of course. Even port profile that can group many features to be assigned systematically to many devices is available. Routing between networks is only gonna be available in some specific switches. That is not something to be considered lightly, as it is a very important feature. One of the reasons this one, the 1930 for example, is considered a layer 2 plus switch is that it features some layer 3 capabilities. The Applications tab will let you have a more detailed insight of your network, as it will identify how the traffic is being distributed inside your network. Again, depending on the type of network you're gonna manage, this may very well be a very important feature to consider. Also, the presence of a gateway here will give you more detailed information. As for policies, its name says it all. You can configure policies to restrict or allow specific behaviors inside your network, from schedules for Wi-Fi availability to power over Ethernet to a more relaxed, less secure environment based on the time of the day. Like I said, very clean interface for very capable customizations. You can even power down all your power over Ethernet devices at certain time, which in big deployments can have a great impact in electricity consumption. As we've been able to use hardware that is quite problematic, when you switch to hardware like HPE Networking Instant-On, it is easy to notice those aspects that should be emphasized as positive changes, and those are: First, it is very easy to make complex deployments with little or no experience implementing solutions with a wide range of applications and a considerable user density environment. You will get notifications when there is an anomaly in your network, something that, by the way, you can temporarily disable if such exceptions have been created intentionally as part of maintenance. You'll be able to have access to help topics from any page that you're at. Reports are very useful and can also be generated from many pages. This could be particularly important if you're going to run or create more complex reports or analytics. For example, tools that used to be complex can now be deployed by less experienced users, and that makes the whole point of HPE Networking Instant-On Portal. Such is the case of temporary networks for events, guest networks, captive portals, and much more. Okay, so what are our conclusions? Implementing HPE devices can vary as how many business needs there are. Not all of them are gonna need segmentation, captive portals, traffic analysis, wireless VLANs, nor bandwidth control. However, it is important to know how deep you can dive into configurations without any profound knowledge or extensive knowledge of IT. That is exactly what I meant at the beginning of this video. Its simple interface can take you as deep as you want. This is particularly important now that even small businesses will require to have IT infrastructure that many years ago may only have been thought for medium-sized or bigger companies. We particularly have liked how easy changes are deployed thanks to the in-band management approach that cloud-based infrastructures use to deploy changes through your network, a technology that has been present for many years but that has evolved tremendously, letting you manage huge networks without the need of a hardware controller present in your premises thanks to its cloud approach, so handy in many situations. Maybe the most important and relevant consideration, or you could say recommendation from us, especially when relying on cloud services, is having a dual internet connection, even if one of them has limited capabilities, as that will become your way of having access to your equipment remotely. Our second advice is to deploy VPN access to your network, at least for you as an IT manager, through each ISP independently, even if you have automatic fail-safe redirection to each ISP. A topic that we may address in the future once we get our hands in one gateway from the brand. And finally, but not less important, as we always say, even though it is a complex topic, try to stick to the same management technology through your network. This means get the hardware from the same brand to simplify your infrastructure management. We understand more than anyone how difficult this may be, but the benefits are immense once everything is in place. If you have no chance but to start one type of hardware at a time, start with your gateway. Then the switches from more important to less important, always considering that there are access points converging into some of them, and some of them may be Power over Ethernet enabled, and then the access points. And ideally, as to the access point concerns, these should be replaced all at once so you don't create any network malfunction for your Wi-Fi clients, and roaming inside your premises remains as smooth as it can be, or better yet, as it should be. Okay guys, I hope that this video was as informative as it was intended, particularly if you wanted to know if migrating or implementing HPE networking devices is the right choice for your company. Remember that your immense support for us to continue creating all this content for you is to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. See you next time.